My name is Angie Garcia, and I'm from a city in Mexico called Monterrey, which is located in the northern part of the country, very close to the U.S. border. But the last 4 years before coming to my MBA, I was living in Mexico City, so I also have experience working in that city. And I'm 32 years old, and I'm a chemical engineer by profession. So now doing my MBA at the University of Manchester at Alliance Business School, and very happy to be here in the UK. I always know that I wanted to study chemical engineering since I was very young, because my father also studied chemical engineering at Tecnológico in Monterrey. And so I was very intrigued I was good at math and numbers, and I was also very well in chemistry. So it was very easy for me to study that undergrad. But I always knew that I wanted to do a master's in business administration, because I felt I already had like the technical knowledge from that undergrad. So for me, it made sense to study business to sort of like round up all my knowledge. And very early after I graduated, I was very intrigued in working in the energy industry. So I've been working for 9 years now in the energy sector. So renewable energy, the wind farms and all of that, yes. I've heard all the question all the time, if you're so close to the US and it has very good schools, business schools, why didn't you go there? And my answer is that I've always been very intrigued by the British culture. So like all the history behind it. So, and in Europe in general, I find it very rich in the culture. The people is different. It's kind of similar even to like the Mexican culture. And for me also, like the farthest that I can go from Mexico in a way to really experience a difference, because the US, I go quite often, right, because it's right next. And for me, it was just about the culture, and I already knew the language, so it was easy for me also to pick an English-speaking country. And yes, people tell me, why did you pick Manchester, the city that rains the most? Very different from where I'm from, but I'm really enjoying the weather. It's not that cold. I applied to another one in the UK only. I did apply to two others in France, one, and other one in Spain. In the UK, I applied to London Business School. And in Spain, I applied to IE, and in France, I applied to Lyon, in Lyon, in France. So at the end, my decision was taken because it was a mixture, because Alliance Manchester Business School has half of the modules and the courses are project based. So that was very interesting for me, because half of the time classes and lectures, but the other half you're doing projects with real clients, which is really my passion, because I've been in commercial roles before and I'm very good with client relationships. So that for me, I was like, okay, so I'll be studying at the same time, and I'll be doing projects and helping real clients to achieve certain goals, reduce costs or increase market or increase revenues. So mainly my decision was based on the program itself, because it had these projects very interesting, and it felt really that I was going to contribute in a real way. And the other part was that I got a very important scholarship from the business school. So from their Women in Business. So I was awarded a scholarship because of my roles before coming here, and my history and my struggles becoming like a woman in a very senior position. And being back from Mexico, that's been hard. It was a difficult decision, as you being a full-time student is not easy, especially if you're doing well in your career. But I really thought that this was gonna be the last time I was gonna be able to do it full time. I think like my age is already, so I'm a little bit above my average age class. The average class is 29 and I'm 32, so I'm a little bit above, but there's a lot of people that are even like older than me. But I, like you mentioned, I do feel that I have more experience than others that are especially way below the average, sorry. And in that case, it's interesting because I'm becoming sort of like a mentor to them. So they approach to me and ask for, so it's a very interesting also experience in coaching other people that need your help in some subjects that you might be strong. But at the same time, I knew I lacked some skills, business skills, especially like macroeconomics and microeconomics, that I knew I wanted to learn more. And then I find people that have been working in the banking industry for many years and I haven't. So it's a very rich experience to learn from the people that know other subjects that I don't. But yes, especially in courses like managing people, because I have had experience that, for example, might be something that I can contribute a lot and maybe learn a little bit less from the lectures. But nevertheless, the way the Alliance Manchester Business Schools does it is that they put us like in smaller groups where you can have rich conversations and discuss what you learn about managing someone. So at the same time, even though that I know some things, the conversations is what I think is more useful with my classmates. The class that it was like macroeconomics it's called leading management in the environmental global world, and it's just about, it rounds out how the banks work, how it's come to inequality in countries, why people have more money than others, why the rich get more rich. And so it was like a very interesting model, because at the end there was some concepts about also like the CEOs need to be incentivized by the owners, and so they give them like stock options, and why does it work at the end? The owners want more money, but the CEO needs to be aligned with that. So it's very interesting how in reality corporations work and how does it affect the economy. So for me, that was very interesting for me, because that wasn't what I do on a daily basis. So again, I sell renewable energy to clients. So that was definitely not on my daily tasks. UK is one of the leading countries in renewable energy, and specifically in offshore wind. So the big wind farms that you can see like on the north of Scotland, there's a lot of wind farms because there's a lot of wind. So it's a good position for the wind turbines to establish there. There's a lot of natural resource there so then you can produce a lot and then distribute to the whole country. So the assets themselves are there, but most of the energy companies are based in London. So probably eventually I might move to London to work for one of these firms. Manchester, I think it has one or two, but most of the other companies are based on London. And in my class, for example, in my 2022 class, maybe we are 5% that come from the energy industry. So we are the minority. It's not that large out of 100 that we are of classmates. So we are the minority, and still they have someone specialized for that industry, because they know there's a lot of people, not not a lot, but like there's definitely some people in the energy industry that do want to make the MBA, and so it's important for them. And that was one of the other reasons that I chose Manchester. And they have been helping me. They already have established some relationships with some firms, but at the same time, because I'm very used to networking, I've been doing work on my own. So because I already have this network back home in Mexico, I'm using it because there's a lot. At the end, wind turbines that are produced here, there are a lot of suppliers that are here in Europe and here in the UK. So at the end, I started building my network by my own through Mexico and through LinkedIn, searching for key people in industries that I'm very interested in, and sending messages and having just casual conversations, 30-minute chat. And it has been successful. So I'm doing an internship this summer in a renewable energy company, thanks to that networking. The first thing that a Mexican needs to prepare before coming here to Manchester in the UK definitely is the weather. Like buy really nice jackets, like against the wind and the rain. So like invest in very good quality of jackets, and buy hats. That's the key. Like if you have a hat on, I think that's like a really kept secret, and definitely something that worth investing is the clothing and buying enough luggages. So I think like I should have brought more luggages because I need more clothes. And definitely a tip for everyone that's planning their trip coming here to the UK. And regarding the MBA, the tip is always prepare 2 years in advance. So I was working on this plan for 2 years before coming here, studying hard, the English exam, the GMAT, so all of that. Always like prepare yourself and talk to your employer also on your idea of going, and maybe they can help you on that. And regarding food, definitely something that I miss a lot, but I do cook a lot. So I did find some Turkish markets out there in Manchester where I found like really interesting chilies. So they are not Mexican, but they are kind of similar. So at the end, I'm buying Turkish vegetables that are similar to Mexican food. So that from one end, and from another one, I did find some Mexican restaurants. They aren't that great, but they sell Mexican products. So you can buy Mexican products from these restaurants, and then you can cook whatever you want to do. Definitely. And I brought many things like dry chilies that I could bring in my luggage. So that's also like something that you guys can do, and definitely cook by yourself then whatever you want to cook. So definitely a Mexican can survive regarding food. I do find the food here a little bit bland because we are so used to seasoning and like so many spices. But the good thing is there's a lot of good Indian food here, and it's kind of similar. So like there's a lot of good Indian restaurants out there. So they have very spicy food. So I'm not having a hard time. I'm surviving definitely, and you have to embrace the experience. So it doesn't have to be negative. It's just the way that you want to take it. So it's just about the mindset and changing it, and really embracing that you're in a different place and you cannot demand to be in the same place that you were. And definitely I feel like Manchester people are more social than some other cities in the UK. So people are generally very nice so far and social. What I do miss is grilling. That was one thing Monterrey, if someone is from Monterrey watching this video, definitely we do barbecues all day because of the heat. And so this is what I miss, because there's balconies on apartments, but like no one has a grill on their balcony. Goodness, so that and pools, because here I don't see any pool. No one is taking a swim or anything because of the weather. I think the first thing after you have been accepted in a university and you have agreed to take the place, the next step, it obviously is the visa, and it's something that you feel like is too much to handle. But definitely, Alliance Manchester Business School really help us to go through that. So they have like very specific PDFs and presentations with all the information that you need and how you need to present it, like how the documents need to be prepared, how many copies, in what order, how many money you need to prove in your bank balance account. So it's a very specific document. And I also experienced, I also participated in workshops that they did through online webinars where they explain again all the process and did a Q&A as well. So for me, it was very easy. And in the case of Mexico, it's actually like a good thing, because for Mexican people, they don't ask us for any proof of the bank statements. So you don't need to really prove X amount of months in a bank account or anything that prove that you can pay your tuition. So we have like we're under like a free or an exemption as a country. So that's a very important thing, because it can be very stressing and struggling to move all your money in one account to another one, and compared to other countries that I know that they request for Mexico. Yes, and another important thing that came into my decision in coming in the UK compared to other countries was that the UK government since last year is giving a 2-year graduate visa after you graduate. That means that whenever you have your graduation date, you have 2 years to stay here in the UK and look for a job or do whatever you want to do without any sponsorship from someone or a company. So that's a very important plus. Definitely something very important for someone that is really looking to stay in UK or in Europe. And definitely something that you need to advise to whoever you have conversations with your potential employer, because not all employers know about this. It's kind of recent. So something that definitely a tip that I'm going to give you is tell where you are talking to that you have this opportunity for them, not to, no need to sponsor you in that way. For me, it was a different experience because I did an exchange 11 years ago when I was studying my undergrad. And it was totally different because I went to France with money from my parents, and this time I'm fully supported by myself. So it's a very different way where whatever I need to spend, I need to think if I already budgeted, if it was already under the budget, and I can spend and choose wherever I want to live. And so it's a very mature and responsible time that I'm living right now, where I'm fully by my own. And because I didn't bring any family with me, I'm just here by myself. It's kind of easy in that way, because it's just me taking the decisions and deciding where I want to go and what I want to spend. But definitely is alongside with some of my classmates, I have learned a lot, because there has been some conflicts in some projects mainly because of the difference in the cultures, and the MBA is mainly from people abroad. So there are a few percentage that are people from the UK, and most of them are from other countries. So definitely there's a lot of differences where people like to lead in different ways. So I have been learning how that I cannot always be the leader, because I'm used to being the leader, and sometimes you just cannot, and you need to follow whoever is in charge. So for me, it has been one learning point, and understanding also how they think, and because of the culture that are influencing, and nothing is personal. So if they do something that you believe is not correct, you really need to go further and deeper to understand why that person is saying that, or making that comment, or taking that decision, and what influenced that person to do that. So definitely I have learned a lot about other cultures, about following leaders, and again, studying, because it was a long time since my last time that I was studying, and definitely it's a different mindset than working. So really being back to full student is something that is not easy. I really struggled the first month, because it's also a different pace from my studies in Mexico. It was very different. In my undergrad, I was used to the teacher explaining everything and going step by step, formula by formula, reading a chapter. And here, no, you need to read everything, and you work on your own before coming to the lecture, and then you discuss. So the teachers were expecting to do this work beforehand, and I didn't know that. So the first month I was struggling a lot, because I was so behind, because I didn't know it was expected from us. So definitely a learning curve that I had the first couple of months. Yes.